Hi guys, my name is Jeanette Akua, Miss Universe Great Britain 2020, and you are tuned into the PPJ podcast.
Good evening, everyone. It's Adrian from the Pageant Project. If you're watching from Australia, as Jeanette was just asking me, it's bright and early in the morning. It is Pageants and PJ's episode number, I think, 63. And our very special guest for tonight's proceedings is Jeanette Akua, who is the newly crowned Miss Universe Great Britain 2020. Jeanette, welcome to the show.
Hi everyone, thank you for having me. Very excited to be on.
It's an absolute pleasure. Now, as I understand from Danielle, you've been manic doing a lot of virtual appearances. But can I just ask, is this the first one you've done in your pajamas?
It is the first one in my pajamas, although I don't know if I should be offended. I bought this shirt and I thought it was very cute. And Danny, who's my stylist, said, "Oh, that can be a good pajama to wear on the PPJ podcast." I was like, oh, wow.
Hang on. So it's not... Danielle, we can't hear you again. You've dropped out. I was wondering why you're so quiet. Danielle, just jump off the call and jump back on. I think you've done something with your headphones. So Jeanette, just back up for a sec. So this is not actually pajamas. This is a shirt that Danielle said would make for good pajamas.
I was feeling myself. It's the online shopping. You know, it looks good sometimes on the mannequin and the models, and then it arrives. I still thought I looked cute until I was like, "Oh, what do you think of this for this appearance?" She's like, "That'll be a great pajama look." So thanks, Danny.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Would you like to defend yourself or give context? Here we go.
In my defense, because on PPJ, a lot of people, some people do wear their pajamas, some people don't. And I thought it was a nice hybrid because it had that silk pajama look and feel to it, but still being dressy and Miss Universe Great Britain, Miss Universe styly. And I thought it was a good hybrid. In my defense, so you're still dressed up and smart, but it looks like silk pajamas.
Okay, so
I love
you're not saying that it looked terrible. You're just saying that it was
doesn't look like pajamas. She looks bougie.
Oh, we like that word, bougie. I'll take
bougie.
There you go. I think that's one of Danielle's favorite words. Have you not heard her use the word bougie before, Jeanette? You must have.
I have. Half of our voice notes consist of yes, word,
yes, queen.
Yes.
Dear me. Okay, now, I don't know, there's a lot of you guys tuning in. So if you have any questions for Jeanette, put them in the comments and I'll pass them on. Now, do me a favor and keep them light, because someone in Jeanette's position is doing 1 billion interviews, and I know from experience, the questions can get very samey and get very heavy. So if I feel your question is a bit too much, how do you plan to save the world or something like that, I'm actually going to skip it. Try and keep it light and give us something to laugh about, because this is not actually an interview. This is supposed to be light and fun. And oh, by the way, Chloe, who's normally on with us, sends her apologies. She has a really, really bad migraine. And migraines are not just a bad headache. If you can understand having a headache so bad that you want to puke. I've never had that, thankfully. But she was going to try and get on, the trooper. But she just said,
get well soon, Chloe.
So, yeah, we miss you, Chloe. Okay, so Ralph has said, hello all. All right, so Kev has started. That's a posh PJ top, Jeanette. Well, as Danielle said, it's bougie. Kev has also said, is Danny digging herself out of the hole here?
Always. It always seems to be doing on this podcast.
You see, they're coming to my defense.
The only way Danielle is not going to be digging herself out of a hole is if she doesn't say anything. So whilst we couldn't hear her, she didn't have to... No, actually, Jeanette threw her under the bus. So even when Danielle is not saying anything, she still has to dig herself out of a hole. Rachel, who tunes in every week, I think. Hello, everyone.
Rachel.
Hope you're all keeping well. Congratulations, Jeanette, on your win. Can't wait to watch your journey. And Rachel's got the question started. I think this is a good one to start off. Jeanette, what are you most excited for in your year as Miss Universe Great Britain?
Wow. Oh, what am I most excited for? You know, it's been such an interesting journey because I've only been crowned just over 2 weeks ago. This event was meant to happen in June last year. So I've got less than 8 weeks to prepare for the finals in May. So I feel like it's an unusual and unconventional, way of things happening. But I think I'm excited about making the most out of a short but impactful. So I'm excited to get ready for the finals in less than 8 months. Well, 8 weeks, actually. It would be nice to have 8 months, but yeah, 8 weeks.
Jeanette, I feel like you were
Like
born
8 months,
ready.
yeah.
You were born ready for this.
Tell me more.
So it doesn't matter whether it's 8 weeks or 8 years. You were born ready for this.
Oh, thank you, Danny. Appreciate that.
Jeanette, am I right in saying that this was your first pageant?
Yes. First pageant. Although I will say my mother and my sisters have, they're not new to the pageant game. But for me, I'm more into music. I'm a singer, love performing and things like that. So the idea of a pageant...
I Googled you this morning because I always do my research and I'm like, holy mother of God, this woman has done everything. You've been on X Factor, you've been on Britain's Got Talent, and then I looked you up on YouTube because YouTube came up and I saw a cover you did of Sia doing Chandelier.
Oh, yeah. Chandelier.
Your voice, I'm a musician as well, your voice is ridiculous. Anyone who can sing Sia Chandelier, that is not an easy song to sing. But just backtrack for a sec. The reason I asked you whether the pageant was the very first one you entered was because there's a lot of girls watching this whose lifelong dream would be to have the crown that you have now. And they work themselves up from small pageants, working. What do you think it was? What qualities do you think the judges saw that enabled you to win the biggest pageant in Great Britain on your first attempt? Because people are going to want to know your secret to that.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, that sounds so grand when I hear it put that way.
It's the truth.
I'm surprised. It is the truth. Well, I like to say that pageants have really evolved, and not to give a pageanty answer, but they really are more than just beauty. It's more than just, ticking a couple of boxes. They want women who have lived life, And you mentioned I've been on X Factor, made it to the top 10 finals. I got to travel the world. I did Britain's Got Talent, made it to semi-finals. And in between that, I went to university. So I've got an undergraduate degree and a master's degree. I now work as the youngest manager at a leading economic consultancy firm. So I'm not trying to throw my CV at you, but what I'm trying to say is that I've lived life before I went into a pageant. I am and was a complete woman when I entered. I never entered pageantry to find validation. I knew who I was outside of it, and I saw it as a leadership opportunity to amplify my message and share my story. Oh, wow, that's what we're doing.
I know, he does this.
Jeanette, talk us through this. I'll quiet it down a little bit. You want to talk us through this?
Of course. I wrote the song, actually, at the peak of lockdown. I'll even say I was having a rough patch. I won't lie. I think we were in our second lockdown, and I was just going through a lot, and the whole world was going through a lot. But I wanted a song that could help me explore through the polarized emotions I was feeling, like frustration, but yet I had this fire burning in me that I can do it. I had moments of weakness, but then at the same time, I had moments that were telling me, you can do whatever you want, and you can be whoever you want to be, even though things aren't great right now. So I wrote the song called You Will See Me Fly, and it's a metaphor for, I will be as low. It talks about, my wings are broken, but you will see me fly. And I think it summarizes my journey, not just for the last year that I think the whole world has gone through, but just my entire journey of the ups and downs of being at my lowest, but still having the audacity to say that, hey, you will fly. It's like, to all the haters, watch me, you will see me fly.
I just say that the videography in this is absolutely stunning as well. Obviously you didn't shoot this yourself. Who was a team who helped you create the visual vision of the song?
So actually the person who directed this is someone called Tom Vandenbroek, and I've worked with him on another music video of mine a couple years ago. But funny story, this was in between the lockdown. So we were allowed to meet people, you know, outdoor. I think it was under 5 people were allowed to see.
Yeah.
So we had to, you know, we went to this is filmed at my boyfriend's parents' like shed. It's an outdoor shed. And I remember going to them and saying, hey, do you mind if I film a music video in your shed? They're like, a shed? That dirty, ugly old thing. I'm like, no, trust me, I have a vision for it. So there were about 3 of us on set. And we filmed this, just the whole day. And I think I wanted something that was a bit grungy to sort of feel like you're going through a dark period, but it takes you on a journey of actually there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So they were quite impressed to see the end product.
I've never watched this before. I saw it on YouTube before. I've just clicked on it now. I'm impressed by the finished product. I mean,
it's beautiful.
It looks amazing, absolutely stunning. All right, so if you go to YouTube, guys, and just look up Jeanette Akua, then you'll see a whole list of results. As I mentioned, also covers. When you did that chandelier cover, did you just go, "Oh, I'm bored. I'm going to sit down and belt out chandelier"? Is that that the thought process there?
Exactly. Yeah, no, definitely. And I don't remember when I filmed it, but I remember when I was in the momentum of filming covers, you sort of have to, you know, be alert and look out for when songs are coming out, because the sooner you film it, the more, you know, traction. Traction, exactly. So I remember Sia had just released, I think was it the lyric video, and it was like the first time I'd heard it that day. So I spent half an hour trying to learn the lyrics. I was like, and I was like, okay, I know the lyrics. And then I just belted it out. I was like, done. Move on, next. What's the latest song that I can cover?
I want to show people this because I know a lot of you have a musical ear. So the cover is here. I mean, you can see here's Jeanette. The hair looks slightly different. Can I just say from then? I mean, it was 6 years ago.
It was pop singer Jeanette. Different feel, different vibe.
Pop Jeanette. Okay, so I won't play the whole thing, but just listen. See if we can get to the chorus.
I'm gonna swing from the chandelier, from the chandelier. I'm gonna live like tomorrow doesn't exist, like it doesn't exist.
And it's having a good old giggle there. Is that bringing back memories for you? I mean, that voice, to hit that high note with that degree of control is insane, but you're having a giggle. Does it bring back memories?
It's kind of cringe because I sound better than that now. No. Okay, no, that doesn't sound... It sounds a bit rusty. A bit embarrassing.
That sounds... Oh, God. If that's embarrassing... I'm never going to open my mouth again. All my karaoke dreams gone out of the window now because Jeanette said, yeah, that's me when I wasn't so good. I was pretty crap then. You should hear me now. I'm like, oh, gee, I'm never going to say anything again.
No, it is quite, it's nice. It's so funny though, watching that. I remember it was summertime. I remember when I recorded it, I was at my dad's house. So it definitely brings back memories. Like, it's so interesting how a video can take you back to a moment in time. And I remember everything I felt when I recorded that. So nice trip down memory lane.
It is, I think, one of the nicest parts.
Digging into the old archives. I remember this, and there were so many things. In my first ever interview of Adrian, he dug out so much that I'd even forgot about myself. So, you know, there might be more to come in this session tonight. You never know. What else have you found out, Adrian?
Well, when I was researching Danielle, Jeanette, before our first interview, Danielle did a live where she was talking about koalas, as in the Australian animal, and how they were naughty teenagers because basically they all had the STD chlamydia. And then actually I've never brought this up with you. I was going to one of the other episodes and I forgot. You got one of the facts wrong, but I can't remember which one. It's a very commonly... it's one of those, like, everyone thinks is true, but it's not. But now I can't remember what it is.
Because they're the eucalyptus.
Well, that one is not true. They eat eucalyptus leaves, and there's so little nutrition in it that it takes so much energy for them to digest it that they're tired all the time. Because, I mean, who eats eucalyptus leaves?
That's why they're like little sleepy bears. Because they're tired of eating.
Aren't we all after lockdown a little bit tired
is
after
true. This is
of
true.
eating and looking a bit bearish, looking a little bit more round and cute than
Don't.
usual?
I put on a suit today that I bought during lockdown, and it was a tight squeeze, you guys. Like, and making first impressions at my new job or my jeans, I didn't want to crouch down, pick anything up just in case.
Same with me. Do you know the amount of times I have like a work, Teams meeting, and I'm wearing like, trousers that I used to wear before lockdown, and I'm like, oh, this one is not going to have a button today, and I'm just like, yeah.
It's fine
know
when
what
you're
you
on a
guys
video
are
call, you
talking
can just
about.
roll them down. You can't do that in the office. Not in my office anyway, you get done for that.
I'm wearing shorts, so I don't know what you guys are talking about. Thank God for track pants and shorts is all I can say.
This is
Jeanette,
the
let me
one
just bring you
time.
up to.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go on.
I'll just bring you up to date with the comments quickly. We've done that one. Now, Kevin has said, because we don't have Chloe on, you should have had me on as a replacement for Chloe tonight.
Kev
I was
wants to come on the show.
I was going to bring someone on as a replacement, but I had like half hour's notice. I was thinking of bringing Emma Jenkins on because obviously Jeanette knows Emma.
Emma
But
Jenkins.
Oh, hang on. Jeanette, have you heard Danielle's Emma Jenkins impression?
Sorry, have I heard whose impression?
My impression
Have
of
you heard
Emma.
Danielle's impression?
Go
Danielle,
on,
off you go.
He's always making me do impressions of Emma.
Performing monkey, off you go.
Hello, everybody. My name is Emma Jenkins, and I think that Jeanette Akua is absolutely beautiful.
Oh my gosh, you sound like her. Literally, Emma's got the most beautiful accent. Like, I remember the first time. It's like, it sounds like a note, everything is like there's a bit of a note and a bounce.
It's like a sing song.
That's the Welsh accent. The Welsh accent is the most musical accent I've heard. It's like even when they're speaking, they're singing a song.
Yeah. So if I had closed my eyes, then I would have believed that was Emma Jenkins. Good impression.
I've had plenty of practice with Adrian making me do the impressions all the time. It's terrible. It's not that good, guys. Come on. I live in Wales now, so I'm surrounded by it.
It's not terrible. We had Emma on the podcast. I made you do it in front of Emma. Even she thought it was good. Jeanette, are you able to do any impressions? I mean, you're obviously a musician. Do you do any impressions? I just got to ask.
I don't even want to embarrass myself. Wow. Oh,
sure
actually, I can do a South African one. Well, I mean, I was born in South Africa, so I've got it.
Okay. I can imitate myself. It's like, well, I can do a great Aussie accent.
Give us a thick South African accent.
Okay. Yeah, bro. Yeah, I was there by the shops the other day, and I was so hungry, and I just decided to go to the shop, and the chap was busy telling me to get out of the way. Can you believe it? Imagine. Yeah. I don't know if that was good.
Yeah, definitely. We have a lot of South Africans living close to me in Sydney, and that accent that you just did, that impression, just brought it all back. I just want to ask quickly as well, Jeanette, on your Instagram bio, is it? I don't know how to pronounce it. How do you pronounce XHOSA?
Xhosa. Everyone just froze. So in South Africa, there are 12 official languages if you count sign language. But after the Zulu tribe, the Zulus are the biggest, and then Xhosa, it's part of the Nguni, so it's known as, people say it's the click language, but only because it has lots of clicks.
Yes,
so
I've heard this.
So the letter X, for instance, so Xhosa is spelled XHOSA, but X is R, you'd pronounce Q, you'd pronounce. So it's the same alphabet, but just pronounced differently. Oh, I've got something fun that people tend to like. So it's a tongue twister. Do you want to hear it?
Go for it.
Oh, God. Go.
Uh-oh, we're in trouble.
So it's no more meaningful than she sells seashells on the seashore, but I'll go ahead. Mic drop.
Oh my God. Wow.
Okay, if
Well,
there's ever a
what does that
talent
mean in
section,
terms of-
if you ever need a unique talent, just do that, and people will be like, "Yeah, what does that mean? What did you just say?"
So it's a tongue twister, like she sells seashells. So I can break it down for you. So on Saturday, I was being chased by the dustbin truck, random. So I decided to go into Kondila's house. So Kondila's dad didn't believe that I was being chased by this truck. And then he bonked me with a little knobble on my head. I was like, ouch, damn, you finished me. That's what it means.
So cute.
It sounds a lot better the way you said it. The
Yeah.
English translation leaves something to be desired. This is the most fascinating language I've ever heard, because I have heard of the click language before, but I've never heard anyone speak it. I don't know how you just like randomly the clicks
rolls off
are
the tongue.
appearing. Yeah, and it just segues into another. I don't know how you pronounce that. I could never. Danielle makes fun of my impressions, like my Scottish
Yeah,
impression.
no,
I'm not even going to
you
try.
don't want to hear Adrian attempt Scottish. It's
Look,
everything
other
but Scottish.
Well,
Go on,
yeah,
you know
fair
you are
enough.
though. Go on, say something.
No, look, I only know how to say one phrase, and that's Olivia's wee whimpering noises.
Yeah, okay,
on
that's
Miss
good.
Galaxy
You've
UK.
nailed that.
I will leave it as that. Okay, Jeanette doesn't need to have her ears listen to this. Danica has said, "Hello everyone, so excited to tune into this session of Pageants and PJs." Danica, you, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, you're from America, I think, right? I know Danica was in our book, Confessions of a Pageant Girl. I think she's from America. Rachel, watching every Tuesday has just become part of my routine. I love watching these. What an amazing voice.
Aww.
I'm assuming you're talking to Jeanette, not myself. Will you be doing, Jeanette, she's definitely asking you, more singing videos or any other plans in that direction? Any other musical plans?
Yes, definitely. So funny enough, I was in between a couple interviews I was doing on Sunday. I was like, oh, let me record another cover. So I might have a cover coming out soon on my Instagram. We'll see if my voice is up to scratch that day. But definitely, and I think music is just a part of me. It's not something I have to put on. It's not something I have to premeditate. It's just second nature. It's a form of therapy. So anytime I get to sing or, listen to music or express myself through writing, it's therapy for me. So of course there'll be lots more singing videos and maybe another music video coming out. Who knows?
Can I just ask two questions? Favorite song to sing?
Oh.
Hardest song to sing for yourself? Favorite? Hardest?
I like There's a Boy I Know. I love Whitney. I love Whitney.
Miss her.
So my favorite is probably Dance with Somebody. I went through a phase where I really liked indie, like pop indie. Skinny Love by Birdie. It's people wouldn't expect me to like that type of song, but I went through a phase where I was obsessed, and I did an R&B version of, cover or rendition rather. So
wow,
that's my favorite song. What's the hardest song to sing? I Will Always Love You. Just don't. Just don't.
If there was one song I would want you to sing, just for me as someone who worships these singers like Whitney Houston, that one, like anyone else singing it, it never seems quite right.
That's
so
the
iconic.
time to leave the bar when someone's picked either a Whitney or Mariah.
Yeah.
Time for me to go.
Exactly. And it's just, even if you're a good singer, I just feel like you can't do that song justice. It's just don't. Leave it. Yeah.
Unless you really change the song. Unless you really change the octave.
If you made it your own and you didn't try to outdo her version.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah, that's an iconic song. Kev has said, such a talent. Love You Will See Me Fly. And
yes.
Danica has said, yes. That's right. I'm the reigning Dr. America. Welcome to the show,
Danica.
Danica.
She is.
Jeanette, you were talking about I can't remember, it was a long time ago in this podcast, and I can't remember what the segue was.
A whole 20 minutes ago.
My memory. Okay, it's 8 a.m. Audacity. Be audacious. You have started Is it an interview slash? Well, it's on your IG, Instagram. Can you talk us through Be Audacious, what it is, and why you decided to start it?
So Be Audacious is a campaign, or I like to say, describe it as a movement which empowers women to have the audacity to pursue their dreams and to have the nerve to walk through doors we're told are not meant for us. So I started it, last year, and I speak to incredible women. I started it as a roundtable talk with women from all over the world. I've spoken to women from Australia, South Africa, India, Great Britain, all over, to share their audacious stories. And for me, it's so important to share the stories of everyday women. I always say the story of the everyday woman to me is just as compelling, if not more, as the Hollywood, superhero story. I think it's so important. We often think the only, excellent people worth celebrating are the people that we see on Forbes list or, unattainable. But I think there's so much power in us, just looking at each other. So I speak to women from doctors, architects, businesswomen, to single mothers, women struggling, thriving with chronic illnesses. And I think it's important to share a diverse range of stories, because that's what allows us to understand a variety of perspectives and life experiences. So that's my Be Audacious campaign.
I feel that's so important as well, because as a Miss Universe, she needs to be someone that is relatable, able to walk into a room and, be a voice for all women. So the more women you talk to, the more stories you get to know, the more conversations, more things you can bring to the table for being a Miss Universe. So that is literally the perfect platform for you.
Thank you. Yeah. And I always feel like people, when we talk about empowering women, like, although I would love to be the voice of every woman, I think it's more important to allow people to use their voice. I can't, be a single mother because I'm not that. I can't tell you the experience of someone who's survived a sexual assault. I can't tell you the experience of someone who, was a business owner and lost it all in COVID. But what I can do with my platform is give those women a chance to tell their stories. And through other people listening, hopefully they can feel, inspired to be resilient and to be more audacious.
I love that. I think what I would want people watching to just note is that you've taken your platform, which you've put a lot of hard work into building, and obviously now with the Miss Universe GB title, your platform, your following will only build, but you're actually taking the spotlight that you have now and you're shining it on other people, which I think is amazing. That's what I like to think I've done with my interview work. That's why I actually made a decision to interview non-celebrities, because I wanted to tell, like you said, the ordinary woman's story. Ordinary, not meaning, normal, not ordinary, because everyone's extraordinary in some way. But you never know what someone's story is. I interviewed a woman actually from South Africa who had survived domestic violence, to give you an idea, Jeanette. And her partner at the time pulled a gun on her, fired it at her head, and just happened to miss. And she describes a moment that she felt the bullet go past her ear and embed into the drywall behind her as a moment she died. And that, when you hear that, even saying it now, I can feel chills, just because I can't imagine what that's like. But helping someone like that tell their story, to me, it's so much more impactful. I don't know how you feel about it, but so much more impactful than talking about myself all the time. I always think, like, who wants to know about me? Like, I've talked about myself enough, it's boring. I mean, do you feel the same way, Jeanette, when you're helping other people tell their stories rather than going on about yourself?
Completely. And I can't tell you, Adrian, the amount of times I've approached women who, I hear about those stories because I find out different stories from different people, and I approach them. I'm like, oh my gosh, please, would like to share your story on my platform. And they're like, I don't know what to share. I'm not that special. I'm not good. Literally, women thinking they're not good enough. I'm like, your story is so powerful. So it in many ways, I thought, I can confidently say the series has, yes, allowed me to share these stories, but in many ways it's kind of a bit selfish of me because it's given me so much. It's given me so much just, hearing their stories and being in their presence. So definitely.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I think is really important when you're interviewing people, is to find out, that's the whole point of having guests on. You find out what their story is and get their message out there. So especially when you have a platform, it's about sharing that. And obviously contributing where you can. You want to find common ground, of course, but
Exactly.
sometimes in some interviews I find that I want to find out more about the guest than the interviewer.
Well, there's a certain art form to interviewing, right? I mean, some people do it well and some people don't do it so well, but we're all trying our best. Jeanette, I just want to bring your attention to a very special commenter here. Now, Nadia Sayers is Miss Universe Ireland. She was crowned at the end of last year, I believe.
Your sister.
Now, she has said, helping others to amplify their own voices. You're doing fabulous work, gorgeous. I can't wait to meet you and talk about it further. And I will just give Nadia a shout out here so that Jeanette knows who we're talking about. So this is Nadia Sayers here. So as I said, she's your Miss Universe Sister Queen over in Ireland.
Yes, that's my Sister Queen. Hey, girl.
Oh my God, imagine if you guys were roomies at Universe.
I would love that. Oh my gosh, thank you, Nadia.
And she does a lot of work in mental health and is doing some incredible work creating comic book heroes so that children can talk about mental health and become educated about it, which also is amazing work. I love the fact that both there are women pageant queens such as yourself and Nadia, who, as I said, using their platform to talk about something other than themselves. I find it absolutely amazing. And I think that's... I'll ask Jeanette, do you feel that that's part of what is your responsibility as a queen, is to, rather than talk about yourself, although you talk about your story because that's relevant, but to literally take your platform and go, I'm not going to have it on me, I'm going to shine the spotlight on other people. Do you see that as one of your responsibilities?
I completely see that as one of my key responsibilities. I think pageantry, it's a leadership platform, and I think it would be such a wasted opportunity to be inward focused on it. You know, for an entire year, you've got a platform to speak on issues that are challenging, and all you do is post cute selfies. I mean, hey, I like a good selfie every now and then, but I think for me, we do. But I think it was so important for me to discuss a variety of subjects. So yes, we talk on the heavy topics, but also the lighter topics. You know, I think, and I know being a woman is such a nuanced experience. We don't have the same views. We're not a monolith. We don't think the same. We don't have the same experiences. But I think by coming together and sharing these variety of perspectives, that is what is going to, you know, challenge toxic status quos and help to redefine the narrative of what it means to be a successful woman in 2021.
Amen. Emma Rose Collingridge, who was Miss Galaxy. So Danielle was Miss Galaxy UK this year. Emma was the Miss winner from last year. It's one of the biggest titles in UK. And she said, Jeanette, you are absolutely incredible. I am so excited to follow your reign. We all
are. We're all so excited. I was messaging one of, you know, the Miss You accounts because you had your takeover. And I messaged the girl that ran that. I was like, I'm just so proud of our candidate. Like, she's just, she's amazing. She was like, I know. She's like, I can only picture about 6 girls taking it over from Zosie. And Jeanette is definitely one of those. I was like,
wow. Wow, that's such an honor. That means a lot. But yeah, I definitely just see it's not about me. I feel like my whole life has been about me. I think it's 1 year. In fact, I don't even want to say it's 1 year because I feel like it shouldn't just be a title, then you dust your hands off of the causes and you're done. I think it's a lifestyle. And I always say, if I were to, I mean, as a Miss Universe Great Britain, but even if I were to win Miss Universe, it wouldn't just be a reign or a title for a year. I want it to be the start of a global movement. You know, I always say, I want to build an army of audacious women all over the world who will continue to thrive long after my reign. That's what a legacy is about, not just work. Legacy. I don't want it to work when I'm there. I want it to be possible for people to remove me out of the equation and for what I stand for to still stand, and for the ripple effect to continue without me. That's what's most important to me.
I do want to, I mean, Emma, so the commenter here, Emma Rose Collingridge, she doesn't, I know her very well. She spent a month or so with me in Australia last year before the whole COVID craziness hit. I know that she doesn't look up to just anyone. And I know that back when you guys were competing in person, even though that didn't go according to plan, Danielle messaged me and mentioned your name, Jeanette. And I was like, who's Jeanette? Because I hadn't heard of Jeanette because you hadn't competed before. And she was like, this woman's amazing. So I just want to ask Danielle, from your perspective, Jeanette being a complete newbie to pageantry, what made her stand out to you? Like, what caught your eye? Because she certainly did that.
I mean, obviously, I was there at the casting day, and I just got this amazing energy from Jeanette. I think I put some Latin music on because I really love Latin music, and she was just literally dancing, vibing, and enjoying herself. And I think with Miss Universe Great Britain being such a big, title, people put a lot of pressure on themselves. They forget to enjoy it. And what I really sensed from Jeanette was that she was just enjoying the moment, and she didn't have any kind of fears or worries because she'd done the hard work in the run up. She'd done everything she could to be there. So she was enjoying the day. And that's what I took away from Jeanette being there. And watching Jeanette walk as well, there was like a light air around her. There was a moment where, Jeanette, you will obviously remember the layout was very beautiful for the casting day, and they had their singular walks. There was a moment where there was like a little bridge, and Jeanette walked up and she put her arms on the bridge and just was like, and it was like a queen looking over her kingdom. When you just get chills from someone. And I was just like, okay, girl, I see you. Coming in fresh. Okay. So yeah, she definitely caught my eye. And it's very rare that someone gives me the chills like that. I call it a pageant-gasm. Yeah, it is what it is, guys, right? When something happens, when someone does something amazing on a pageant stage, it's like, it takes your breath away. It's a wow moment. And yeah, Jeanette, you gave me a pageant-gasm. Not gonna... And that's the highest compliment that I could give. I never forget. The first time I ever coined, I'm actually think I'm going to need to copyright this pageant-gasm. It's said here first. Copyright. It's everywhere now. I think I mentioned this like 3 or 4 years ago, and I think I was sitting next to Paula of Miss Universe Great Britain a few years back, and I was just like, when someone did something, I looked at her, I was like, pageant-gasm. She was like, what are you on about? I was like, it was really good. So yeah.
Oh, thank you, Danny. That's so sweet. And I actually remember that. I remember when you started playing Latin music, because music just moves me. And I remember, we were doing rehearsal, we had masks on, couldn't breathe. I mean, we knew why we needed to do the safety measures. But you just played some Latin music. I was like, now we're talking. And every single girl was like, yes, girl, work it. Yeah, just dancing. I remember you were standing next to me, and we kind of like
we were both like vibing. We were like having a little dance. I think that's a song came on that you recognized, and you was like, yes. And I was like, yes.
Definitely. And I think it's just so important to, know what when you put in the work. Like I always say, the competition doesn't start when you set foot on that stage. The competition starts the year in advance. I would even take it further and say multiple years in advance. When you get on that stage, it's the culmination of all your preparation. So if you feel, confident in what you have to offer, you shouldn't be panicking. That's the time to enjoy it all. I was stressed in the build-up when I was working on my campaign, trying to make sure I was telling the right, getting as many powerful stories out there. That's when I was stressed. But once the actual event happened, I was like, I've done the work now, and what's meant to be will be. And I think the women were so incredible, and I really was confident in that whoever won would do Great Britain proud. So
yeah, for everyone to have got to that stage, because obviously you jumped through so many hurdles, there were so many setbacks, there was quite a few people that obviously had to exit the competition. So the fact that you've been so resilient to get to that casting day, and then after that casting day, each having to submit your videos. Obviously on that day you each got to have your interviews, so that the judges did have a good feel for who each person was and what they brought to the table. That interview was crucial. You should have seen me. I was having kittens, making sure everyone got their interview. But
having kittens,
yeah, stressed, having kittens. Yeah, I don't know, maybe that's a British slang thing. But yeah, you girls had all been so resilient in the run up, and you could tell you all wanted it and worked so hard for it. So everyone was a queen in their own right, and I always say it's always a shame that only one person can take it, but that one person is the voice, and you know, for those girls. And you definitely have not only a beautiful singing voice, but a very
literally
an eloquent message to get across. And I know for sure that every single girl that you competed with is so proud of you, and they are so excited for you.
Oh, I hope they are. Thank you, Danny. Funny story though. You mentioned the interview, just to lighten it. I don't know if you know or noticed this, on the day you were sort of helping usher the girls into the interview room. I remember when I put my hotel room key down by the banister, went in, and as I left, I just grabbed 2 keys. I didn't realize it. By the time I got back into my hotel room, I was like, whose keys are these? And I was like, oh, it's Danny's.
Stole someone else's key.
I think I took your
I
hotel.
did actually lose my key. You stole my key.
I was going to return them, but then you know what?
Creeping into my room, Jeanette. I know how it is.
But yeah, I'm sorry. I took your hotel room keys by mistake. But yeah,
totally fine. It's totally fine. I would not have got the fine for that anyway. It would have been on Paula's account.
Oops.
So
Sorry.
hang on, Jeanette. You swiped Danielle's key. Danielle, how do you get back into your room?
Oh, I just went and got another key from front desk.
Oh,
I thought it was just because I was like had a lot on my mind that day. I was like, oh, I'll probably just put it down somewhere. No, tea leaf over here, Jeanette. Stolen my key card.
I was going to return it, but then by the time I realized, like a couple of hours had gone past, and I was like, I don't know what do I? It's not like the chip has a number on it.
No, they're just the little touch. Yeah,
exactly.
They're plain, aren't they? Oh well.
Yeah, but sorry about that.
well, I'm
emotional.
glad I could connect you two on the podcast so you can confess to having stolen Danielle's key. It's good that, water under the bridge. Jeanette, I want to ask you a question, because there's going to be a lot of girls looking up to you, given your title and given everything else you've done and how confident you are. You talk about being audacious. You're obviously audacious yourself, at least outwardly. I know what goes on the outside, not necessarily on the inside all the time. We all have our days. But there's going to be people watching who go, Jeanette won on her first attempt. That's great for her because she's obviously so brave, so confident, nothing would ever faze her. I would love to do that, but I can never be like that. So for the girls who are maybe a little quieter and don't have that outward confidence, what sort of advice could you give them in terms of being audacious? Because it seems like it comes more naturally to you. I don't want to misspeak. I'm sure everyone's journey to finding confidence, it's not just overnight. But there are going to be a lot of girls going, that works for Jeanette, it would never work for me because she's brave and confident and amazing and I'm not. What would you say to a young girl who's thinking that right now?
Yeah. Well, I like to say being audacious isn't just about, getting out and being super bold and doing radical things, but being audacious can be just stepping out of your comfort zone, speaking up, even if your voice shakes, And I think it's important to know that there's no such thing as an overnight success. And I'm not saying I'm a success or anything like that, but I was successful in winning Miss Universe Great Britain. But that it might, on the outside looking in, it might look like, oh, she just did it once and it worked. You don't know the 10-year journey. Like I failed in so many other things in life. And they might not have been pageants, but they were preparing me for this. I talk about so many times, even and I tend to not tell the story a lot, but even after X Factor, I went from living my dream, touring, going to red carpets and all of that. And then less than a year later, I was back at my dad's house, broke, and I had no job. So people don't know the journey behind the scenes. So just because it looks like you've succeeded first attempt at one thing, you don't know how many attempts in different forms I have failed at. So I think my message to whoever is, uncertain, take the first step. You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. And I'm paraphrasing from The Secret, Laws of Attraction.
Yes.
But it's so important to not think that being audacious, there's only one version to be audacious. It looks different for everyone. And I think the underlying spirit behind it is just to act despite your fears. Yeah.
There you go. Danielle's quiet. She's lost for words. That doesn't happen very often.
I'm on the same page. I'm nodding in agreement. Absolutely, yeah. Stepping outside your comfort zone, and that's definitely something that's made me grow. I try and do something that makes me feel uncomfortable every single day, just to grow as a human being.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
even if it's just doing the washing up. I'm uncomfortable with doing that, but I need to do it.
I second that. Yeah.
Actually, no, you need to do it. I'm looking. My
dreams.
other half just turned around as if like, "Are you going to do the washing up then?" Because we just had dinner. No, you're still doing the washing up.
Oh, I thought you were looking at me because you were facing this way. I was like, you need to do the cleaning up. I was like, really?
No,
You're pointing that way.
My other half turned around and looked at me as if to be like, "Oh, you're doing the washing up, are you?" No. I cooked dinner.
Guys watching, we're going to wrap up soon because Jeanette is super busy, as are we all. So if you have any other comments, messages of support, or questions for her, now's your chance to put them in. Jeanette, selfishly, I just want to ask you one more question. How do you manage to do so much? Because there's this acronym that I heard, which I really liked recently, which was FOCUS, which was follow one course until successful. Then on the other hand, there are people who are multi-passionate and seem to do a lot of things and do all of them quite well. And I'm more of that person. I find it a challenge to really focus on one thing. How do you go about managing your day, managing your time? I guess more importantly, managing your energy.
Oh gosh, I'm still figuring it out. But I think it's about prioritizing, focusing on the bigger picture. And I think it's even bigger than just prioritizing my day. I think even the metaphor for life, your ultimate long-term goals, I wish I'd known before to be flexible with the avenues I take, because before I was so focused on being focused, which is a good thing, but you don't want to, laser in so much that you miss opportunities presented in different forms, So I think it's important to stay focused on the end goal, but the way in which you get there, be flexible. So I think even just honing it in on a day-to-day, it's like, okay, I need to these are my main priorities today. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to happen in this order, but as long as I get generally to the end, then I'm good.
Yeah, I think during 2020, for us just to make it to the end of the day was probably a major success for a lot of us. So, Jeanette, in terms of any future plans or big goals for yourself, I mean, you've already achieved a lot. So do you have any sort of moonshots or things that you'd like to stand for? Are you going to run for office? Are you going to be president of the country?
I mean, you're
going to be on
totally
the Forbes Fortune 500 company in your spare time? I mean, what are the big goals, the big visions, the big legacy that Jeanette wants to leave behind?
Yeah, I just want my message to be amplified, whether that's through music. I would love for Be Audacious to become an actual talk show, who knows? But ultimately, once again, the avenue or the form that takes, whether it's through music or speaking opportunities, I just want my message to be amplified. And that's for women to just believe in themselves. Only you get to own your story. Only you get to define what it means to be successful. And yeah, that's my big goal.
Well, amazing. Danielle, I think we will wrap this up with, because I've never interviewed Jeanette. So, Danielle has, I think Danielle has disappeared. Either that or she's gone very, very still. She might have, her battery might have died. But Jeanette, let's finish with the same 10 questions I wrap up all the interviews with. And if there are any more questions from the viewers at the end, then we'll circle around to them. So 10 questions. It's not rapid fire, but you can answer them quickly if you want. So question 1 is, what is your favorite word?
Audacious.
That makes sense. Question 2, what is your least favorite word?
Can't.
What about in life? What gets you excited? What turns you on?
Possibility, hope, the potential, that the future, the potential of the unknown. Yeah.
And what turns you off?
Pessimism. Yeah.
I can literally see your face drop even when you think about it.
It's just, when you have such a great idea, and I don't mind constructive criticism, and I know you have to be realistic, but what I hate is, when you've got this energy and you've got these ideas and someone is just met with this dampening, it's like, ugh, you just killed the vibe. You killed the vibe.
Question 5. This is a question I love asking musicians. What sound or noise do you love?
Ooh. So it's not a particular one, but reverb, the sound of an echo where you can say hello,
Mhm.
hello, 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 hello. And it's that I like that sound. And you can any note sounds incredible. It's like and it sounds
I don't know if that's the reverb. I mean, that might just be your voice. I mean, if I turn reverb on, it's going to sound like I'm singing in a toilet. But I guess if it works for you, that's the main thing. Well, what sound or noise do you hate?
Oh, people chewing with their mouth open. Oh, I don't like that. And I don't know if it's too polite or I don't know. I can never tell someone to chew properly. I think it's a bit rude, but it's just like we can hear, That's the worst sound.
That's one of the most common answers I'm given to that question. In fact, one girl, for her, it was so bad that if someone chews loudly next to her, she bursts into tears. She just starts crying.
Oh.
So
Wow.
that's a very common answer. Okay, fun question. If you could have any one superpower, what would you pick and why?
I keep changing this all the time. To be invisible. To be invisible. Because I feel like you can go anywhere, do anything. I was going to say, and get away with it. That does not set the right tone. I just think being invisible could be cool. Yeah.
I do always say I worry about the ones who answer invisible because they're always the one who wants to get away with something. They're always the mischievous ones.
There's nothing I want to get away with.
Question 8. What job or occupation other than your own would you most like to attempt?
What Michelle Obama does is incredible. It's not a solid, like, I don't even know if there's a title for that, but she's such a woman of influence, I think, from writing her books, her political stance, her humanitarian stance. I'd love whatever her job is called, because I don't think it has one title. Being Superwoman, basically.
Well, even the way, actually, now that you mention it, the way she speaks and the way you speak are in the same vein. Very, very powerful speakers.
Oh, Adrian, stop!
Michelle Obama is one of those people, when she opens her mouth, it doesn't matter what she's saying. She could be telling she was on a talk show, I think with Stephen Colbert, and she was saying how when she was in the White House, obviously, she just wanted to get out of the White House to watch the fireworks. I think it might have been the 4th of July. This was during lockdown, and you can't do that. Being the wife of the president, everything needs to be run by the Secret Service. She was trying to escape the White House. She got to the door and it was locked, and the Secret Service are like, "Are you trying to go somewhere, ma'am?" But it's such a silly story, but the way she tells it, you're just entranced. And your delivery really reminds me of her.
Oh, that is like the highest, like that is a compliment. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I remember reading that. I know she retells the stories in some of her interviews, but I remember reading that. I was like, I just love this woman. I mean, in the middle of the White House, the big fuss, she's literally saying in the middle of this fuss, just let me be human. Let me be human for one moment. And I resonate with so much that she stands for. So that's
Have you seen the documentary on Netflix?
Yes, watched it.
When she's jamming in the back of the car, listening to the music, I'm like, yes, Michelle, go on, get it. She's just normal, like,
exactly.
Amazing. Yeah. She's my number one person that I want to style. Like, obviously, I have dreams of obviously. I'm a stylist and I have my dream clients. Obviously, you are one of them. And then, Miss Universe, I'll be styling Miss Universe. And then the next thing that I want to target is, I know Michelle has her stylist and I follow them on Instagram, and phenomenal. The power suit is, I just love a power suit, and Michelle does it the best out of everyone.
She does.
She really does. She goes for those bold colors. She wore like a corset underneath a suit. Oh, yes.
There's no rules, right? I love it. I like that about her. She doesn't, allow herself to remain in the boxes that people give to her. Even when she was first lady, there was a a type, how you should present yourself, how you should dress. And she said, no, I'm me. And I think that's powerful. So
she's an audacious lady.
She's an audacious lady. I didn't want to overkill it, but you said it, so hey, I'll take it.
How would you feel? How would you feel about interviewing her, Jeanette?
I feel incredible. You know something I love about Michelle Obama, like with everything that she's accomplished, you still get the sense that you're talking to a human being. And I think that's so important in whatever sphere of influence that you have, whether it's a title, whether it's being a CEO, it's so important for people to recognize you as a human. You never, at least for me, I never want to come across as unattainable, because what's the point? Then you're just another holy fantasy that people think, oh, that's just them. Those are the dreams for those people. It's not for people like us. I think it's so important for people to relate. And like Zosie said, see their faces reflected in yours. Yeah.
Danielle, just whilst you dropped off, I was going through the final 10 questions with Jeanette that I normally wrap up interviews with. So we got up to question 8, which is why we're talking about Michelle Obama, because I asked Jeanette what job would she like to try other than her own. So we'll just finish off. So question 9 is, well, she would like to be whatever title Michelle Obama has, she would like to be that. And got to say, I wouldn't mind being that either.
I can never be her, just to be clear. I can never be her. Don't want to be her, but whatever combination.
What she stands for, what she's doing with her book and talking to young ladies, the youth in general, and by having a great influence. And I can definitely see you doing something like that. Well, you're doing that now. So
100%. Question 9 then is, what job would you definitely not like to attempt?
When I once again talking about the ups and downs, I used to work as a waitress. People don't know, and I think as much as I would say I wouldn't want to do it again, it taught me so much about human nature, and I think it's those moments that humble you. And I think it's important every now and then to go back to, and I have the most admiration for waitresses because I was one too, but it's so important to go back to the jobs that you think you don't want to do, because that's what brings you back to back to earth. So I'd say in a way my flesh says I don't want to go back, but my spirit says yes, those are the jobs that you need to revisit. If that makes
Final
sense.
question. Absolutely. Final question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Yes, you made it, Queen. Yes.
You made it sound like God is Danielle Latimer.
Yeah,
I can just imagine Danielle. Danielle, have you been keeping secrets on us? You are actually God, are you?
No, my answer to that was, it's time to party. And I can imagine it being like a party with all like family that have passed and being reunited, balloons, cake, drinks, food, being a celebration of a new life.
That'll be nice. What about you, Adrian? What would you want God to say to you?
People get like really sentimental and be like, you did.
Well, there's two schools of thought. One is to try and give a really serious answer, or to give a serious answer, and one is to give, a more humorous answer. Honestly, because I have it in my brain, I would love to interview God. I mean, I would love to have a great time and have a party, but can you imagine interviewing God?
Wow. What do you want to say to yourself?
Well, you'd have to change that question, right? But can you imagine if you were omnipotent or omniscient? I mean, I don't know, but I would love to have a great time. I'm not someone who wants to take life super seriously, which is why I'm bringing this episode to a close. You can see that we have a good time on Pageants and PJs. It's not... we don't keep it super serious. But Jeanette, I'm cognizant of your time, so we'll leave it there because we're going on about an hour. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so fun. Daddy, this is very fun. Very fun.
I told you. I was chill vibes.
Very chilled vibes. Thank you so much. And lots of thanks and, blessings from me and my pajama.
Bougie.
My bougie pajama. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
See you, Jeanette. Thank
Jeanette,
you
I'll
so much.
keep you on the line for just a sec whilst we hang out with the audience, and we will speak to you next time.
Sure.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Remember, Confessions is out. To get your copy from Amazon, head to shaw.b/confessionsbook, and I'll see you next time.